Number 10. While the 72 Hurst Olds didn't feature the fire-breathing performance numbers of some of its contemporaries, it was more than just a flashy appearance package. It had something that made it unique. Under the hood, the 72 model came with a 455 V8 engine, available in two output versions: the L75 with 250 horsepower and the L77 with 300 horsepower. However, what truly set it apart was the fact that it came with a Hurst dual-gate shifter, making it feel like you were a part of the action every time you threw it into gear. This was a nod to the growing popularity of muscle cars with more sophisticated interiors and features, giving it an edge over other high-performance vehicles of the era. Despite its performance and styling, the 72 Hurst Olds faced the realities of the early 1970s muscle car market. As a result, only 629 units were produced that year, including 220 hardtops with sunroofs, 130 convertibles, and 279 hardtops. Number 9. It all started because GM had a ban on engines larger than 400 cubic inches in its intermediate cars, but Oldsmobile had other plans. Enter Hurst, the hot-rodding magician who knew how to bend rules without breaking them. They took a 442 and shoved a 455 V8 under the hood, producing a beastly 390 horsepower and 500 torque, which made the car a drag strip terror. Allows the car to sprint to 60 in just 5.4 seconds and complete the quarter mile in just the high 13-second range. Despite its performance, the Hurst Olds was actually marketed to a more niche crowd. It wasn't the muscle car for everyone. It was for those who wanted something different, something that would stand out, and something that screamed, "I've got style, and I know how to use it." Number 8. It's the early 1970s, and Pontiac decides to team up with Hurst to create a car that's equal parts luxury cruiser and muscle car bruiser. Enter the Pontiac Hurst SSJ Grand Prix, a vehicle that didn't just show up to the party. It arrived in a gold cape, blasting rock and roll. The SSJ was based on the Grand Prix, but received the full Hurst treatment, including gold or white paint schemes accented with flashy gold stripes and pinstriping. Under the hood, buyers could opt for a 400 cubic inch or go big with the 455 V8, producing up to 370 horsepower and enough torque to peel asphalt off the road. Inside, the SSJ was more lounge than cockpit, featuring plush bucket seats, thick carpeting, and all the fancy trim a 1970s Playboy could ask for. Experts say only 272 units were produced in 1970, 157 in 1971, and 60, possibly more, in 1972. Number 7. Born in an era when the muscle car was on life support, the Hurst Olds W30 was Oldsmobile's way of saying, "We're not dead yet." Under the hood, the W30 packed a 455 V8 engine that pumped out 230 net horsepower. Not a massive number by today's standards, but still enough to melt tires and wake up the neighbors. The W30 package came with a functional his and hers Hurst dual-gate shifter, allowing drivers to switch between automatic and manual mode with a flick of the wrist. Visually, the 74 Hurst Olds was unmistakable. With its bold black and white paint job, gold stripes, and massive hood scoop, it looked like something Batman might drive if he were really into disco. And let's not forget the Hurst Olds badges and the Oldsmobile rally wheels, because subtlety was not on the agenda. Fun fact, despite being a muscle car, the W30 was surprisingly luxurious, complete with plush bucket seats and an 8-track player. That's right, you could burn rubber to the sweet sounds of Lynyrd Skynyrd or Barry White. Number 6. Jeep teamed up with Hurst Performance to create this limited edition oddball, a rare mashup of off-road brawn and muscle car flash. Under the hood, it packed a 225 Dauntless V6 engine, producing 160 horsepower. Not earth-shattering, but it got the job done, especially when paired with a 3-speed manual transmission and a Hurst T-handle shifter. Yep, you read that right. A Hurst shifter in a Jeep. It's like putting racing stripes on a tractor. Visually, the Hurst Jeepster Commando was a rolling contradiction. On one hand, it had the classic Jeep ruggedness, a squared-off body, and a removable hardtop. On the other hand, it was dressed up like it was headed to a muscle car prom. Sporting white paint with red and blue stripes, a hood scoop, and a chrome Hurst badge, it looked like it should be doing burnouts, not mud runs. Fun fact, the Hurst Jeepster Commando even came with a hood-mounted tachometer, a feature typically reserved for muscle cars, not dirt kickers. Imagine checking your RPMs while climbing a rock. Pure overkill, but that was the Hurst way. Number 5. The Hurst Hemi Underglass is one of those cars that perfectly embodies the over-the-top, go big or go home spirit of 1960s drag racing. Imagine a Plymouth Barracuda with a Hemi engine not under the hood but under the rear glass. That's right, a mid-engine, wheelie-popping monster that was more about showmanship than straight-line speed. The brainchild of drag racer Wild Bill Shrewsbury and Hurst engineer Ray Brock, the Hemi Underglass was built to get attention, and boy, did it ever. It all started in 1965 when Hurst wanted to showcase the might of Chrysler's 426 Hemi engine. Rather than stick it in the front where it belonged, they shoved it behind the driver's seat, right under that massive rear glass window. The result? A wheel-standing, crowd-pleasing drag strip sensation that could hoist the front wheels down the entire quarter mile. Shrewsbury piloted the beast with the nose aimed at the sky, and the crowd went wild. Fun fact, the Hemi Underglass became so popular that Hurst built multiple versions from 1965 to 1975, each wilder than the last. It even came back in the 1990s and early 2000s with new builds for exhibition purposes. And in 2016, Jay Leno and Bob Riggle had an accident while doing a wheel stand. Luckily, no one was injured. Number 4. Back in the late 60s, Hurst Performance was cranking out hopped-up Oldsmobiles that could smoke the tires and drop jaws simultaneously. But the 1969 Hurst Olds Convertible? It was an ultra-limited edition special, built for the Indy 500 as a parade car and never meant for public consumption. Under the hood, it packed the same fire-breathing 455 V8 as the standard 69 Hurst Olds, cranking out a conservative 380 horsepower and a ridiculous 500 torque, enough grunt to peel the asphalt right off the street. Fun fact, only 2 Hurst Olds convertibles were officially built, but unfortunately, one had a serious accident and caught fire. Since repairs were not possible, a third Hurst Olds convertible was built. Number 3. The Hurst Harry Olds was the brainchild of Hurst Performance and drag racing legend Gentleman Joe Schubeck. They took a 1966 Oldsmobile 442, stuffed a 425 V8 under the hood, and just to keep things interesting, they crammed another identical V8 in the trunk. Yeah, you read that right, a V8 in the trunk, because one engine just wasn't crazy enough. Together, these twin monsters pumped out a combined 2,400 horsepower. That's enough power to launch a small moon, or, in this case, a 442 that could smoke all 4 tires at once. Each engine drove one set of wheels, making it effectively a 4-wheel drive burnout machine. Painted in gleaming gold with bold Hurst logos, it was a rolling billboard for Hurst shifters, the go-to gear for drag racers everywhere. Despite its insane power, the Harry Olds was nearly impossible to control. It fishtailed, smoked tires, and generally behaved like a toddler on a sugar high. Number 2. Like its hardtop sibling, the convertible was a land yacht in every sense. Under the hood lurked a monstrous 440 V8, good for 375 horsepower and 480 torque. Paired with Chrysler's bulletproof Torque Flight automatic transmission, this boat could haul in more ways than one. Despite its size and weight, the 300 Hurst convertible could hustle from 0 to 60 in a surprisingly brisk 7 seconds. While Chrysler officially produced around 500 Hurst Edition 300s that year, every single one was a hardtop. However, 2 convertibles were made. One was used as a parade car for the 1970 Indianapolis 500, parading around like a rolling gold-plated yacht, and the other mysteriously vanished. Of course, this remains unverified, and it is believed that only one convertible was ever built. Number 1. In 2008, Hurst celebrated its 50th anniversary by creating 50 of its own Viper SRT10s, and the most special thing is that only one of these is the Viper SRT10 ACR. Under the hood, it packed the same 8.4-liter V10 as the standard Viper SRT10, churning out a mind-boggling 600 horsepower and 560 torque. This Viper really stands out. On the outside, it's got a fully adjustable carbon fiber rear wing and an adjustable carbon fiber front splitter. The car is painted Viper black with gold Hurst stripes running across it, and it even has gold-trimmed Hurst polished aluminum wheels. Inside, the special touches continue. It comes with a Hurst shifter, which is a nice upgrade from a standard ACR Viper. You'll also find plenty of Hurst details, like Hurst embroidered into the seatbacks and a Hurst Anniversary Limited Edition badge on the dashboard.